The Bible has around 1,500 pages. It's a big book. It's about 10 times the Quran, for example. And the question is, how can we summarize the whole message of that book? Is there a way to put it in a nutshell? That's what I want to try today. The way I started is to ask myself, what is going on in this universe? Nature is so beautiful. Mountains, deserts, forests, the sea. Everything is so perfect. The animals, the human brain. However, we see that nature is suffering, all kinds of problems, death, sickness, and it seems that the human being has become a very, very evil animal, if I say so. The question is, where does it come from and where does it go? And that's exactly the question that the Bible answers. Let me explain you this with a picture. Suppose we are on a cruise, like here in Egypt, on the Nile. A beautiful ship, a captain with the owner of the ship was put all his love, all his knowledge, his know-how, his energy to make everything perfect up to the smallest detail. He wants the customers and the crew to be happy. And as a matter of fact, the customers are really satisfied. The weather is good, the water is clean and quiet, no wind, the food is excellent, the service is perfect, and this is vacation. All sorrows are forgotten. People just enjoy every second of that luxurious cruise. However, something happens on that ship. Something terrible that I don't wish for anybody to experience. What is it? I'm going to tell you that. As this luxury yacht moves, imagine that a small boat comes closer and closer, and this boat is a boat of pirates. The pirates want to take control of this beautiful boat. How are they going to do that? Well, they come closer and jump on the deck. Now, the pirate in chief tries to seize control as soon as possible to have the boat in his hand. How does he do that? First, he tries to explain to the crew and to the passengers that he has something better to offer than the owner. That's what we call mobbing. He says a lot of bad things about the owner, and he creates his own laws pretending they will be better. He makes people afraid who don't follow him, but the best way is to get attention by promoting himself. Some people believe him, some people don't. Some people are just afraid. Some people just ignore the situation by getting another drink, eating, enjoying life, and not worry about anything. That's the situation on the ship. No need to say that this new captain, the pirate, has no idea how to maintain the ship. He doesn't even know how to move the ship through a tempest. And that's why things get deteriorated on the boat. Maybe a big wave will come and the boat will just be turned over. We don't know, but the situation is really bad. The owner is aware of the situation, and he has a plan how to rescue the boat, the crew, and the passengers. He thinks a lot. How is he going to do that? The first thing is to look at the list of phone numbers of the passengers and the crew and try to reach as many people as possible, and those he cannot reach should be reached by those he has the number from. So the message is given to everybody that the owner is in control, that he has a plan, people don't need to worry, they just need to be faithful to him, something will happen. Now, something very interesting happens here. The pirate is a former employee of this owner. It means that both know each other. And the owner knows that this man can be very evil. He knows his strength, he knows his weakness. So the owner decides to do something else, not just sending messages, but coming himself onto the boat. He disguises himself as a simple passenger, Only the parrot knows him because that's an old worker of him. And of course, talking with the passengers, he tries to bring them to reason and to trust the owner that they don't know. Normally on that stage, and that's happened unfortunately in the world, parrots come on a ship and tell the crew, we're not going to do anything against you, just be quiet, call your government, they should send us $3 or $4 million and then we will liberate you. That's called a ransom. Ransom is something we know in history. For example, in the ancient time, if somebody ran into debts, he had to work so hard, like a slave, to pay his debts back, until maybe someone he knew, or somebody who was a philanthropist, would pay to set him free. I remember in a country somewhere, we were traveling with the tourists and they saw beautiful birds and monkeys in cages on the market. And the people said, okay, we're going to give money to the shop and get the monkeys and the birds out of the cage and send them into freedom. That's called redemption, paying a ransom. The problem is that the owner knows exactly that even if he gave millions to the parrot will not give back the boat. So he has to find another way. And the only way he finds is to tell the parrot, you know what? I want to set these people free and set the boat free. I'm ready to die for that. And maybe you smile, but listen, I have a friend, he works in the hospital in Los Angeles for people who have severe accidents. And he told me that every time somebody is severely bleeding, his father would come, no matter if the son is guilty or not. No matter if the father is a Christian, a Muslim, a Hindu, a Buddhist, or an atheist. And he will tell the doctor, here's my blood, take it to save the life of my child. Ready to die. That's what the owner wanted to do. The parrot tries to make a deal with the owner, saying maybe let's do 50-50, let's have a partnership. We share the cake because the boat is under my control, so I don't need to give it to you. But the owner says, no, I will die to save the situation. What does it mean? At that moment, when the parrot refuses any other solution, he shows how evil he is. Because somebody who is not guilty is ready to die to save other people. So everybody in the boat knows how evil the parrot was. And this gives the right to the owner and to all the people in the world who look at this tragedy on television or somewhere to get rid of the parrot. That's like when you play chess. The parrot has lost the game. The game is over. This story is exactly the story of the Bible, with the difference that we're not talking about the boat, we're talking about the universe, our planet and the other planets, the whole world that God has created. God has created everything perfect up to the smallest detail. But the devil, in Greek diabolos, in Arabic iblis, the one who brings everything upside down, has created the problem that we see today. The solution is that God, through the prophets, tried to talk to us and to show how He really is. That He is the Lord and not the devil. That He is the good God, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, the merciful one, and not the devil. And then, the Bible said that God came to the earth to show us how He is. Revelation, His Word, His Spirit, His mercy came among us. And then, God did not pay something for us to be free, but He gave His life as a ransom. Interestingly, the Arabic word fida, or Hebrew fada, expressed this in a very clear way. For example, in colloquial Arabic, if a precious vase falls down and breaks, I would say fadak, which means I wish I could pay for that vase. Or I visit someone in the hospital and I say fidaka, I wish I could be in this hospital instead of you. Fida gives the idea of a substitution done freely by love. And this is the word the Quran uses, wafadainahu, for example, and the Bible uses for the great sacrifice that God gave to humanity to set us free. Now, the story continues. The game is over for the parrot. God invites us to come back to the boat He will completely renew, which is the new earth, the paradise if you want. He invites all of us, and all of us can be there. The only condition is to say yes to what God has done and say no to the devil. That's the privilege we have. And I want to invite you to be there. The devil right now knows that he doesn't have too much time. And that's why he's angry and tries to fight against anyone who says yes to God. With temptations, with suffering, and with disappointments. But God is in control and He wins the war. He has won the crisis and very soon we'll be with Him forever. No suffering, no death, no injustice, no devil, only the most beautiful cruise forever with God as our captain and owner of the universe. That's the message of the Bible. I invite you to read it step by step in this wonderful book and to anticipate a better world that is to come very soon. Assalamu alaikum.